Welcome back, ladies and gents, to Captain of Industry Update 3, where our city continues to grow. And the really good thing is, if we look at my food over here, we've given all types of food, and in particular, you can see that both the vegetables and the fruits, they are back to 100%. Now, I don't think these ones are full yet, because that's pretty big, but you can see actually it's full on vegetable already, and this one, it's getting there. So thanks to the addition we made in the last episode over here, which, by the way, why are you trying to take stuff here? So the addition we made over here to create tons of fertilizer, basically out of nothing, right? The only input that we have is water, and here we need a couple of small inputs like the sulfur, limestone, and soil. But even soil is not actually necessary. The only one that are really necessary is the sulfur and the limestone, and the water comes from, our over here. That's not good. Please empty that. Yeah. So the water comes from the nuclear station, right? It's a byproduct, so that's great. Yeah, we made a ton of fertilizer. Then we're sending the fertilizer into all of my farms, and so the fertility has been increased by a lot. We have also continued to make some progress on research, and in particular, we have been able to do the nuclear reactor level 2. It required 200 of spent fuel. We went above this and started doing it. So in this episode, we're going to be able to move forward, and because that's a really, important step. You should not wait too long, I think, when you unlock this, because slowly but surely our spent fuel, right, it's going to make the whole thing full. You don't want that to happen, right? So we're gonna want to make sure we can do something with this spent fuel, and this is what's going to start on this side. This is, the only thing we can do right now. In the future there will be another one, but this is for the final nuclear level. But right now we can already do something pretty cool. We can take this spent fuel with a bit of acid and molten glass. I know it's coming a bit out of nowhere, but yes, we need molten glass. We're gonna get reprocessed uranium at 1%. So it's not the same as the one before, but we're more importantly gonna get plutonium and fission product. Let's talk first about the fission product, because this is the really cool thing, is this fission product is very, it has a very high radiation level, much more than this one, right? This one's only 2, this one is 6. So you definitely want to store it into one of those storage there, right? But the really good thing is, if you store it for 100 years, it becomes retired waste. And then this retired waste, you can just shred it into recyclables. So that is really, really cool. I'm guessing the recyclables are going to be mainly some steel, because we need steel to make it, but maybe I'm wrong. So yeah, we're gonna do this over here. Basically, you can see the outputs are gonna come this side, right, of this uranium, this spent fuel. We're going to need a bit of acid. It comes from this place because we're making way more acid than what we need. And we need also this molten glass. So I've placed just one blast furnace next to it. And for now I've placed those things there, but I'm wondering if maybe we're gonna make them closer. So it's basically, glass mix, not sand, sorry, glass mix, and some coal, right, to make this. Then we're gonna make also a bit of slag and a bit of exhaust. I'm just sending the exhaust into the atmosphere because this is not gonna run often, and this is only 4, and we're creating 24 with this, right? But the slag, let's make sure we send it back with this line back here into the slag loose storage over here that we already have, right? And so yeah, with this we're going to create the fission product. The fission product will go into those storages to wait 100 years, and then it will be shredded into recyclables, and then the recyclables can be sent somewhere, right? But more importantly, we also get 2 other things. We get the plutonium. The plutonium, we're going to be able to transform it with some depleted uranium into MOX rod. And those MOX rod, right, we're going to be able to then put them into a nuclear reactor to get some energy. It will create something, but yeah, we can definitely do that. So that means you kind of get, out of your uranium, you get even more. Or what we can do also is to store it. because we may want to use it in the future for something else. And then last but not least, we have this reprocessed uranium over here. This one, that's pretty easy. We're gonna want to send it back with a bit of hydrogen fluoride into, enriched uranium, so into this one here. So that's clear. We're definitely gonna want to do that one, send it back there. It is gonna be a bit tight, but I'm gonna find a way. And it is, ladies and gents, this has been built. So again, we have to bring some resources here, the glass mix and the coal. This is making some molten glass. Then, all of this is sent back over here. Oh, I see there is a problem here. So that's bad. And with this, we're gonna create the molten glass. Then here, we're gonna get spent fuel, acid, and molten glass. And this should start making something, right? You can see we have all of the inputs, but it's not working because it says no computing. This is this new bar over here. So, we had before electricity, now we're gonna have to deal with electricity and computing. So there is the demand for 14 teraflops, and we haven't really started any teraflops, right? This is on the computing side. Actually, I don't even remember where they put it now. So let's find it, titanium here. So we have the mainframe computer. This is going to give me a bit of teraflop in exchange basically for people, maintenance, and electricity. In the future, we will have better ways to actually manage, our teraflops, but right now we don't have a choice. This is the only way. I don't think one is gonna be enough either, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this is only 8. Wow. So we need quite a bit there. Okay, so here it is. So with this 4, I'm gonna be in positive teraflops. Right? This is going to enable this one to start working. Let's give it a second. It is starting to see some blue. So 16, right, 32. So we're definitely gonna be in positive with a bit to spare for the future. And now it's starting. Here it is. We're starting to transform our spent fuel into, again, some reprocessed uranium, plutonium, and fission product. So the fission product we are going to send here. I have 2 of these, one here and another one there. The first one, I have unchecked this box. So what's gonna happen is the spent fuel is gonna go here and then it's gonna go there. And in this one, we have checked this box to say you should not let the blue fission product out. You should only let the retired waste, so after 100 years, you should only let that one out. I have put 2 because, in case 1 is not enough, given that we're gonna need to wait 100 years before, this is going to start decreasing. And also because this is the double, right? This is 2 versus this one is only 1. So for now, what I'm doing is I'm going to store it in this because, as I mentioned before, there are actually other things we can do with this green plutonium in the future. Yes, I could create some MOX rod, but the reality is I don't really need any MOX rod right now. So instead, I'm going to keep it potentially for this. And if we start to see that this is full, 1, I can create another storage next door, and 2, I could start using it. Now the key thing though is to look over here. You will see that this reprocessed uranium, we need to send it somewhere. So that's what we're starting to do over here. Now this is a bit of spaghetti because I hadn't really thought this through. I left the space for this, but I forgot that I needed also the space for that one, basically. That was my problem. So we have the space over here. This is, again, where this whole thing is coming. After a bit of spaghetti, it goes down here, and we add a bit of hydrogen fluoride, which comes from this, right? It's not a new production, because here this is making 12, and remember, we're only using 8 here. And now we're going to use 2 more, so that's just 10 out of 12. But yeah, with this, we're going to create a bit more depleted uranium and a bit more of enriched uranium level 4. And so both of these, right, they will go here and they will go into there, right, into this depleted uranium and into that one there. The only thing I haven't done, to be honest, is I haven't put any priority. We may want to put a priority balancer over here, because this should actually be prioritized before we make new one here. So this is a good question. I think we're very far from this being a problem, but maybe we should do it before we forget. So let me rework that quickly and I'll show you in a sec. And it is, you can see we have, now instead of going down here, we're gonna go down on the side and it will go through this priority here. As to say, make sure that we take care of these before we make too much new ones there, right? Because this is already full at this point. But otherwise, I think it's gonna work pretty well. So this is working, making some new ones. So these should start going down. Actually, I think it was at 700 when I started recording. It's already at 600, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good. We can even see here we have already 48 vision products. And again, we're gonna need to wait 100 years, so it's gonna take a bit of time, but still, this is good. And here 25, okay, all good there. So with this, we are starting to make, you know, less waste, let's say, or more, you know, nuclear out of 1 gram of uranium ore. Now, additionally, with this research, we have also unlocked the upgrade of the nuclear reactor. So let's do it together so I can show you. Right now, we have 3 levels, right? So what is gonna happen with this upgrade? Spoiler alert, we're gonna have more than 3 levels. So it is, instead of 3 levels, we now have 5 levels, and we have also this button over here. If enabled, the reactor will adjust its power output automatically based on heat demand. Automation will not exceed the maximum power level set on the slider and cannot drop below the first level, so it cannot stop completely, but it can start going up and down, right? The system depends on the cooling loop. Without it, rapid heat changes could lead to a meltdown. So automation requires computing function, and again, this requires the cooling loop. So this thing over here, right, where you're using water to make some steam depleted, which right now we are sending here. So that means if I keep it like this and I do use this automation, we're going to kind of waste some steam. So we have a couple of small things that we want to do. One, and by the way, you cannot do this upgrade I just did on something that's running. If this one over here you can see is running, it says no, you cannot do it. But what we can definitely do now, right, is we can say, let's take this reactor there and let's actually make it replace this one for now, right? Because these are the same. They have, you know, the input output comes over here too, so it's fine. It can take over. So we can say, please go to level 3, while, oh no, yeah, level 3, while this one here will go down to level 0. So we are cooling it down. I did an emergency cooldown. If you don't want to do emergency cooldown, you know, you can go slowly, but it's fine. We did an emergency cooldown. So these guys here are stopping. Yeah, it didn't shut down. I shut it down. What are you saying? Oh no, it's this one that's... What's happening? It overheated. That's not good. Why did it overheat? Oh, because the water is not there. Why is the water not? Oh yeah, my bad. Oopsie. That's why I tell you in all the episodes, I like to just build all of the pipes at the beginning, because usually after I forget to put the pipes. Now we're gonna need to restart something ASAP, otherwise we're gonna have a problem of electricity. But yeah, we are restarting that one, and this one here is cooling down quickly. Okay, so it didn't explode. Thank God. That was, you know, we had almost a problem, but yeah, it is. We're sending, you know, all of this steam, and now it's cooling down. We did lose quite a bit of people, as you can see, because we had, because of this emergency. Where is it here? Radiation. We lost, you know, 3% of my population in one go. That's obviously not great, just because I forgot to do this. Damn it. But anyway, now it's fine. Now we have the water coming in, right? We have the fuel in the reactor. So if we wanted, we could restart this one. The problem is we are super low on people now. What I can do, we can definitely pause one of these for now. Well, that's very annoying. Well, let me just put that back to level 3. Let's pause this one for now, because we need to make sure we don't destroy everything else in my city right now. Let's pause this whole thing. Why didn't you pause? Because that's not very important. But yeah, this here, at least this one, now should be starting. Yeah, it's fine. It's gonna take a moment for these to go back to 100%, but that's okay. We do also, if we want, we can restart potentially these ones quick and dirty. Go, it's fine. Okay, and yeah, I need a lot of people, so let's unpause this. And I could increase my population growth for a bit. It is, listen, a couple of minutes later and we're back into positive population, all good. It's as if nothing ever happened. I have also deleted the smokestack, right? The smokestack is gone. Instead, we have a gigantic pipe, a pipe tier 4, because we're talking about, you know, 300 times 2, because we have 2 of these, right? So a tier 3 was not enough. And then it's gonna go here, right, into the normal pipe. So that's going this way. We're not, if we start using this over here, right, when we cool down, we're not going to waste any steam. We're going to transform it back into water. So I'm excited to try. Let's go. Maybe this time we don't go too crazy. We go one level at a time. Why is the maintenance saying 83? That's strange. 94. It's gonna increase. I think it's because basically when we did, you know, the overheating, the building was being destroyed, right? Now it needs to be rebuilt basically. But yeah, as you can see over here, we're starting to get some steam. So we can start decreasing on the other side and increase on this side. And right now, if we look over here, we're using, it seems, around 80, 90 megawatts, right? So this is what, 30, so 60, 90. So all of these should be working. I guess if we want to make it a bit more of a real experiment, we need more pipes then and more things, right? Because what we're gonna do is, you know, we're gonna say, yes, we're gonna be a lot higher, you know, like put it, for example, completely full, but then we're gonna put this on, and that means even if we say, oh, you can, if you want, go all the way there, actually sometimes it's gonna go at level 1, sometimes at level 3, depending on how much energy I need at that time. Yeah? That's the idea, at least. It is, ladies and gents, a couple of minutes have passed, because I had to reorganize a bit on this side to make sure we take full advantage of this automatic power regulation. Now, as you can see, the automatic power regulation is working. It's going up and down. So it's gonna go up when it's time to charge those flywheels. And then when those flywheels are full, it's then going to go down to the minimum number 1. Right? And obviously that happens for both of these, where we're going to really try to charge those flywheels here. You see now it's going down, so we're probably not using a lot. Here it is. You can see we're not using a lot. Temperature is going down. And then at some point the flywheels will be almost empty, right? And so at that point it's going to restart. It's going to restart. Here it is. It's restarting. You can see it. There it is. It's restarting. And so the flywheel is going up, up, up. And we may want in the future to add even more flywheels so that it goes a bit less up and down, right? And we lose less efficiency. Also, what I've done is that given that it can never go to 0, I have these ones here running without flywheels, right? They will never stop, these ones. But yeah, and we have also built, you know, everything. We have now all of these thermal desalinators. We have here the second deposit to be able to bring also a bit more. We're using both of these, all 4 of these, all 8 of these, but actually, you know, if we look at them, they're probably mostly, oh no, not all of them. Some of them are full, some of them are full. Why? Because, you know, if all of these are working, we're gonna make 4 per minute. And 4 per minute means this is only when the whole thing is working at 100%, which, as I just showed, it's not gonna work at 100%, right? It goes up and down, so we're not gonna use 4 per minute. And on top of this, we're creating, some spent fuel. And remember, then we are changing this spent fuel into reprocessed uranium, which then will create a bit more on enriched uranium. So it's actually more. We have, it's not the equivalent of 10, it's more like the equivalent of 9, but we're basically making more than this 4, right, or this one here, right? So these guys here are not going to work at 100%, but at least we know it's there if we ever need it, or when we'll get to the time where, my consumption is basically 240 megawatt, because that is providing 240. That's what this is. We have, paused all of the diesel here. We have paused all of these, right? They are not working. So we really have over here 240. We're only using right now, let's say 80. So of course, this is why it's going up and down. We're not using that much. It is sometimes a bit finicky, because it takes time to go up and down. So keep that in mind. And especially given the fact that we're using very little inputs, right? Most of the inputs is the uranium, the water, this is water positive. We're using what, like maybe 10 of sulfur. Maybe we're using a bit of, that's pretty much it, like 10 of sulfur. And here, a bit of filter media, just a bit of coal and glass mix. So it's really not a lot of input to create so much energy. So I also know tons of people who don't even care about this. They just put it at the max. They put, no flywheel at all, and the whole thing is supposed to work all the time. Now, having a nuclear accident definitely wasn't fun. So it would be great to have even more medical. We have unlocked, if you remember, the medical level 2. So let's start doing this. I have actually already done it just now. And so let me show you. It actually starts on this side over here because we're gonna need to make antibiotics, and the antibiotics are taking sugar. So this is why I put it here where we already had our sugar production. Right? We're making quite a bit of sugar, so that is fine to use a bit more there. It will also require ammonia and oxygen. So it's a bit like what we did for the fertilizer over here, right? We're gonna create those things kind of out of thin air, right? We're gonna use over here the air separator to make the oxygen and the nitrogen, and then we're gonna use this nitrogen plus a bit of hydrogen to make the ammonia. And where is this hydrogen coming? Well, it's coming from the electrolyzer that is making hydrogen out of water, right? And the water comes over here. So again, this is a bit out of thin air, right? We don't need any inputs. That's what I really like. That's what I will also try to do as much as possible. I have no trucks moving things around, right? Which means it requires having the least amount of inputs. So with this, right, again, we're making ammonia and we're making oxygen. With the sugar over here, we're creating antibiotics and carbon dioxide. Now I could have sent the carbon dioxide into the atmosphere because it's only 4 each, right? But we've unlocked now the chemical plant level 2, where we can actually take this carbon dioxide to make graphite. So why not, right? That's what we're doing over here. We haven't created yet a lot, but it's definitely positive, instead of polluting, we can keep it. Now I did put over here this with this pipe balancer, where when this will be completely full, we still need a place to send this carbon dioxide, right? So that's what we're doing over here. But yeah, with this, we've been able to create antibiotics. Then we send them next door where we already had the medical level 1 or tier 1, right? And we're gonna take this tier 1 plus this antibiotic to make the tier 2. This is 24, we already had 24 and 24, right? So that's why we have 2. And it's 12 and 12, so 24. Here, this is 8, so 8 times 3, right? So that's the production, and with this, we create quite a bit of level 2 medical supply. And so now if we go to our city, we can actually use the one we already had before, right? We can use one where we put both medical supply level 1 and medical supply level 2. What I've decided to do is more create a new one over here and pause this one. And then basically, if ever we need to, we can restart that one, right? So we'll have both. But yeah, the key thing is more for me to focus on level 2, because level 2 will give us more unity, more health, and more reduction of mortality, right? This over here was 0.6 reduction of mortality, 15 health, and 0.5. Now this is 0.75, 20, and 1. So this is definitely, superior. we do have quite a high demand, as you can see, so we're gonna need to keep that in mind. But yeah, they're going to deliver probably very soon. We'll see a truck running here at full speed with some of these. No, still not these ones. Where are you, truck with medical supplies? I mean, to be fair, it is coming from pretty far, right? By the way, it's sometimes cool to also look at this level what is happening in your city. And still not this one. Still not this one. Where are you? And now I'm starting to think I made a mistake, like maybe I blocked the output of the other or something. Oh, no. Yeah, this is fine here. Okay, let's go. Ah, no, it came. It's on the way somewhere. Damn, we should have waited one more second. No, it hasn't arrived yet. Ah, it is. 3 trucks coming. 4, 5, 6 trucks coming at once. And now it is full, right? Why it is not going? Oh, because it's paused. Sorry, my bad. But there it is. Now we're gonna start making some medical supply level 2 and get this bonus. Right, here it is. We can see the bonus increasing. The storage, of course, needs to increase a bit more. But yeah, this is all good there. So hopefully we won't have a problem anytime soon with, you know, the flu or something like this won't be a problem. Now, in the next episode, we could go into the mega vehicle, offices, aluminium. We have robotic too, space station, microchips, and electronics. So a lot of interesting things for us to do over here. But I do want to show you also the progress we've been making over here. I'm really destroying this whole mountain there, and soon we're going to start destroying this part too. Similarly over here, we have finished sort of tunnel, right, to go into this place here, and we're starting to expand, right, this. I mean, the idea at some point is going to be basically to bring all of these down, but for now, I think to just make a ramp is a good idea, and maybe later on make a ramp there too, for the goal to be able, you know, to continue coming down. But yeah, the city is looking good. I mean, all of this is paused, obviously, right? We don't really need it anymore. So we could also start destroying some of it, because I think my nuclear facility is working really well at this point. You can see some of these storages here going up and down, right? We can see the storage here should be empty. Yeah, no more fuel spent, because we can, you know, take care of 8 spent fuel with one of these. The reality is I'm only making 4 at the maximum, right? At the maximum we'll make 4. So definitely one like this was enough. We are of course starting to have more and more reserves of fission product, but I think we're also going to start getting into the point where some of it starts being recycled. Oh, actually, no, it may have been brought up by some people. It may actually, maybe what we do is we leave it like this, so I can see when it's full, and at that point we know we've really been, you know, doing some of it. And yeah, we have also a bit of plutonium over here, so that's all good, all good. Great nuclear power plant. I hope you're enjoying this one. But yeah, in the next episode, definitely a lot of very new things for us to look into. I hope you're excited, smash the like button, and I hope to see you next time.